Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Friday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. It's the weekend. It's the last weekend of regular season college basketball. Mizzou with a big one tomorrow. And did they just get maybe a little bit of a better chance to get a win? Maybe.
Careful.
Maybe.
This is a dangerous mindset, but we did talk about it yesterday, and it may be happening the way that we wondered if it could.
We'll try to contain ourselves as we get talking to about Mizzou and Arkansas and give our predictions here in a little bit. Rob Veno, as always, joins us to get set for the weekend, and we'll have our picks of the week too. But first, let's get to this.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Look, Mizzou still an underdog, and that's to be expected against Arkansas, number 20 in the country. Tigers lost to Arkansas earlier in the year, but Darius Acuff reportedly, according to John Rothstein of CBS Sports, college basketball fanatic, well, he's doubtful for the game. There is going to be an SEC availability report that comes out later on tonight around 7 o'clock, so we'll see some more official word about his status. Then there's an update before the game tomorrow, so we'll see what that all includes. But thought this could be a possibility heading into the week, and did it give Mizzou maybe a little bit more of a chance to pull off an upset against the Razorbacks, one that could really use if they want to avoid playing on Wednesday in the SEC tournament and absolutely solidify being in the NCAAs. That's the Big Show's big deal on this 6th day of March, 2026. I mean, Brendan, it's pretty clear that if Darius Acuff doesn't play, it's not that Mizzou wins the game, but they've got a much better shot now that they can find ways for their backcourt to find some better openings. I think Darius Acuff also underrated as far as distributor and defender. So, look, I'm going to follow the thread at least a little bit. I'm going to be waiting and seeing, like, okay, is Arkansas going to be careful? Calipari, maybe you just need to ease up in this game here, maybe a little bit.
See, I don't think they'll ease up, but I do think that they would sit Acuff, and not having that player is inherently going to change the dynamic of the matchup. I can never, when situations like this come up, though, I always think back to the football game where Todd Gurley was suspended. And
yeah.
And, you know, it's like we're celebrating in our apartment. We're like, we got a chance.
Let's upset Georgia.
They have Nick Chubb in their backfield.
Who's that guy?
That running back.
Come on.
So
Handle him.
That's kind of what I always think too. Obviously, different situation here. Acuff is, I mean, he certainly would be missed in terms of the way that they would attack a basketball game with him versus without him. And you know, does that give Missouri an opening? I think it could. But again, you can't think that way because that's the quickest way to still get blown out by a team that could very well be playing deep into the month of March. So, yes, I think it's better to have this storyline than to not have it. If you're the team, if you're Dennis Gates, you can't get caught up in it. I think you just have to be ready to play against whoever they may roll out there. But, yeah, I mean, as we're sitting here talking about this game, you know, less than 24 hours away, I would prefer Acuff not to play. I don't think that's a hot take in any capacity.
No, because they are not even at full strength anyway with him. They haven't had Carter Knox last few games also. I don't know the status of that, but he hasn't played.
We'll get that availability report, and that'll shed some light on that one too, Andy. I really think, as much as this is a very atypical way to talk about a college basketball game, when you get to the very last game of the season and the bracket is pretty well set from Arkansas's perspective when it comes to what they would be facing in the SEC tournament, it is a rather meaningless game from that perspective. Obviously, seeding, like, they would love nothing more than to win this game, you know, claim another quality win for their schedule, and then run deep into Nashville, and maybe their seeding jumps from a 4 or a 5 to maybe a 3. Like, that's something that's plausible for them. And 4s lose to 13s. Not as many 3s lose to 14s. Like, if you have a chance to win the SEC tournament and win out and maybe sneak away all the way up to a 2, which I don't think is in the cards for them, but the committee surprises us every year, then heck, we know that there's an advantage to being in that situation compared to a lesser seed. But I also think Calipari's been around the block before, and he would tell you that you can cut down those nets from just about any seed line. It's more about having your team ready to go, healthy, full strength as it can be, and motivated to play when the games could end your season, a week and a half from now. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to tell his guys he's off, but the guys that are playing are going to play. But I don't think there's any reason to play Acuff in this game if you're Arkansas. I say that as a Missouri fan who would obviously potentially benefit from him sitting, but I also think if you're just neutral, they're either the 2 or the 3 in Nashville, and you're playing the same team, whether you hop them for seeding or not. In theory, if chalk holds, you're playing in Alabama. If you're Arkansas in that kind of semifinal round, is your opponent on the day before that going to butterfly effect into being someone different? Yeah, but they're all kind of the same teams in that range. And if you're Arkansas, I don't think you're afraid of just throwing names out of a hat, a Texas A&M in a way that you wouldn't be afraid of a Georgia, whatever it might end up being. I think you're probably recognizing that you're in about the same position, win or lose, when it comes to Nashville. So
yeah,
I think it's the right decision. And like, if he's doubtful, unless there's a Brady Cook thing happening, he's probably not going to play, I wouldn't think. And I think that makes a lot of sense. He's been grinding through maybe better than any player in America when it comes to playing through injury this season.
You can call or text us with your thoughts on the Mizzou-Arkansas matchup at 875-KTGR. I mean, the other side of it is that Arkansas, and look, I haven't followed them all year. There are obviously people who have watched them all year that would know more than me, but it seems that they've been rolling with an 8-man pretty much all year. Like the 8-man rotation, and no one else has played more than 10 games. Like even Dennis Gates, when he got to a 7-man rotation and now an 8-man, there were at least 3 or 4 other guys that have played in at least 15 games or something like that. Right. Arkansas has really kept it to these 8, maybe 9 if you include one other guy. But having 2 of them potentially out, because that includes both Acuff and Carter Knox, having 2 of them out creates potentially like a 7-man rotation. You're kind of thin in the backcourt as well. It's twofold, right? Because you want to have enough guys to be able to play competitively in this game against Mizzou, because it may not mean as much as it does on the Mizzou side, but as you mentioned, there's still a little bit that Arkansas can improve with their situation if they win this game. But at the same time, that you're probably going to roll with 7 or 8 come postseason. Why do you risk it? Why do you throw Acuff out there? You just maybe have to roll with the guys that are healthy and go that way. I don't know. I'm trying to get inside their mind. Obviously, don't know what exactly they'll decide, but it's notable. Bottom line, though, is this: no matter what they're doing, Mizzou not showing up in a similar way that they did against Texas means they still have no chance. No chance at all. Put up that type of effort like you did the last time Mizzou Arena was sold out. You will not beat this Arkansas team, no matter who is playing for them.
Or in the last game they played, which was the road game at Oklahoma, and it was kind of the same. That can happen. I don't care who Arkansas rolls out there. And you're right, Indy. I mean, they might end up expanding that rotation and playing a little fast and loose with some different guys in the event that, I'll just look at their most recent game. Acuff played 36 minutes and they beat Texas by 20. He still played 36 minutes.
That's like insane. They were up 20.
Kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy to me. Time a little bit.
You got Trevin Brazil. They'll welcome him back. He played 36. Billy Richmond has definitely stepped up and has played 37 minutes in that game. And so they only got 14 minutes out of Nick Pringle. I don't know if that's somebody that you would expect to play more. Acuff is a guard, but they can. There's a lot of guys with different skill sets that can pick up the slack. So.
I mean, Malik Thomas, maybe the freshman, is the one that stands to benefit a good amount. And also, again, DJ Wagner has been playing pretty well.
They had 5 guys at 28 or more minutes. Malik Thomas was at 28. Pringle played 14. Malik Ewan played 15. And then you had a guy play a minute and a guy play 3. So even as you call it a 7-man rotation, like the main 5 were the main 5 and nobody else saw more than 15 and just to kind of spell. So it's going to probably be those guys that are playing ancillary roles that gobble up some of Acuff's minutes and they maybe play bigger, or there's a guard that's going to be a guy that normally doesn't play that's going to play, going to get a role in this game. And they'll say, hey, look, I mean, if something should happen, we want to it's great to test it out in a game where losing it doesn't really cost you a bunch. And we may want this guy to get a little game time heading into tournament season where who knows? I mean, if Acuff re-injures the ankle, then which you don't think would happen, I don't think they're taking him off that court in March Madness, but you never know, right? And so you might, Calipari might expand the rotation in a way that maybe benefits Arkansas. If Missouri scouts, the guys they think are going to play, and then next thing you know, it's a guy you haven't seen the tendencies of quite as much, and he surprises you. I wouldn't be shocked if that's a storyline from this game. But we're talking about they played 5 guys that got a 16th minute, and one of those 5 guys is probably not going to play in this game. And to your point on Carter Knox, he did have a procedure done. And so they haven't said he's like, well, they haven't said that. It was a meniscus. It's a kind of knee that, maybe 3-4 weeks he could be back, but no timetable. So I don't think he's playing tomorrow.
It was weird. He came into a game between this span that he was probably hurt. Like he played against Auburn for 6 minutes, didn't play the first 2 games before that, and then hasn't played since that Auburn game. So he came back briefly, but then hasn't been back since.
When was his last time on the floor? Do you have a date on that?
February 14th.
And this article was from the 19th of him having underwent a successful surgery on his left meniscus that Wednesday. So I'm thinking not going to be a factor, which he averages 8 points, 4 boards per game, 18 starts. So definitely a legitimate contributor, but they've seen others step up and try to fill that void. But now it'll be another example of that at the guard spot where Acuff, everything runs through him. My prediction, Acuff's not going to play. They're going to try to run a lot through Trevor Brazile. They're going to try to make this like the go dunk on your former team and have that be like your send off in the regular season in a building where it all kind of started for you. And there's bad blood now. There just is with the going to Arkansas and the different things over the years that have been said. So I think they're going to lean into that a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him rise to the occasion. I'd love nothing more than the Antlers to get in his head, and he has 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 turnovers. Nothing would make me happier. A couple missed free throws to boot, but I also think that he is a talented player, and so you could see Arkansas say, "Yeah, let's try letting Trevor Brazile. He's a forward, but he has those guard skills where he could pick up some of the slack." From Acuff, not necessarily a ball handler, but a guy that you get the ball in his hands and he can make some good things happen. So I bet they're going to try to make it a Trevor Brazile game when their main star is out, and you kind of see whether you strike lightning a little bit with something like that. That's my prediction for what they're going to try to do.
Sure,
and we'll see how Missouri can combat it.
Well, yeah, and that might have to be Sean Phillips, right? What does that do for Sean Phillips? Do you think he is up to that defensively as I would think, at least, the primary guy that has to defend the rim against Trevor Brazile?
Yeah, but Brazile is a different kind of guy. He'll shoot 3-pointers. He'll pull up from the mid-range. I think in the rebounding, Brazile is a consistent rebounder. I think you need Sean Phillips to not be fouling him into. But yeah, there will be moments where he's driving and trying to dunk on people, and Sean Phillips has to defend that rim. I think others will be charged with, on the wing, like a Trent Pierce. I think body type rather similar.
That's true.
Brazile's probably got a little more weight on him, but that's you're gonna need a lot of your this can't be an off game for Anthony Robinson just because he won't be tailing Acuff. He'll be tailing somebody else and trying to make sure that they don't find any comfort in whoever's replacing Acuff in a lot of those situations. So I would say Trent Pierce, I want to see have a really strong game. We've talked about Jaden Stone, needing to see maybe more scoring out of him. But whatever he scores, he might score 9 points, but I want to see him have a complete game. I think if he has a complete game and you don't get the scary bad version of T.O. Barrett, which sometimes it's just been very bizarre. The bad games that he's had, they've been pretty rough. If they can avoid that, I think they're going to be competitive in this game. And at home, you flip a coin and say, hey, let's lean into the environment. Missouri would have a chance under that for sure.
And here's the best chance. This is, I think, Mizzou's best chance at finding a path to victory. This is where it comes through. Look, Arkansas, little depleted, more than likely. Maybe Acuff plays, maybe not. If he plays, they're going to be careful with him. They're not going to play him as much as they did against Texas, because not only that game was later than Mizzou's game. Mizzou has had an extra day for this. They will likely have a larger rotation of guys that they trust to be out there. Maybe Arkansas throws out somebody that hasn't had a lot of time, but that's a roll of the dice as to whether that person's going to be effective, right? And then you've got players that are one day more rested at home in front of a raucous crowd. Brendan, I think the first 10 minutes, Mizzou has a chance to dominate it. Like, if they jump out, right, against this Arkansas team,
place will be jumping.
Place will be jumping. And, like, do you think Arkansas is an awesome team, and when they have everybody back, they will be extra dangerous when it comes to March Madness? But in this scenario, if, let's say, you go up 10 or 15 points against Arkansas at any point, do you think they'll have the energy to climb back in this game and come back and get it? No, I actually don't think so. And I am not afraid to say it. I don't think that short bench has enough to expend the energy you have to do to come back from a double-digit deficit and then close it out. Mizzou will be the more healthy and rested team for that situation. And I think that if they're able to start fast, then that could potentially be a stretch that wins them the game. I don't care if I'm old takes exposed on that. I really do believe that.
Just anytime we get up big, it just feels like you could be up double digits and you're still waiting on the run to come. Not only because it's a Mizzou thing, but mostly because it's a college basketball thing. There's a lot of talent on that Arkansas side, but the energy level and the motivation, as much as a coach of Calipari's nature should be able to motivate a team, he's not batting 1,000, right? There are games where we've seen over the years of his Kentucky teams or his Arkansas teams even that they come out flat, and like that's just college basketball. Mizzou just came out flat at Oklahoma. We hope that they can wipe the slate clean on that. I'd much rather start fast than slow, but I do say it's a dangerous game to say, hey, once you're up 10, you're gonna coast. Not in this sport.
No,
not
I'm
the
not
way they
saying
can score
coast.
The basketball.
I'm not
coast. No, you're not. But I'm going to disagree with the premise that a fast start would essentially ice it, because Arkansas is 6th in the country in offensive efficiency, and they play the 19th fastest tempo. Make whatever adjustment you need to, sans Acuff, but that's still a team that they can score in bunches. So I'm never feeling safe. Well, they can come back.
But my point is, you do not need to be better than Arkansas for a full 40 minutes. You could be extra better than them for 10 to 15, and that cushion might be enough.
They did that against Mississippi State. I hear what you're saying and respect it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's as applicable because of the level of talent they have in the offensive side of the ball. Now, it could be a case where, as we're watching it, I send you a text and go, you're right, Arkansas doesn't have the scoring punch today without Acuff. And like, if that's what happens, I'll tip my cap on Monday, and believe me, we'll be having a fun show because I'll be very satisfied by the outcome if that's the way it plays out. But I would just, my caution is just Arkansas can put it in the basket.
Oh,
I mean, they
no
can
doubt.
score.
Yeah.
And so, there's not really a deficit for them that I would say, they're out of this thing. Their most recent totals, and again, Acuff is such a huge part of this, and the availability report will tell the tale, but they scored 105, 77 against Florida. That was the outlier, but that might be a natty contender. 99 on A&M, which is a tournament team, 94 on Missouri, got to 115 against Bama in overtime, 88 against Auburn in a 13-point win. Like, they're going to get theirs. And in a world where they don't score, like, they're scoring 80 points, are they not? I would assume. the total's around 162 or whatever it is, but Arkansas is getting to 80. I mean, they always get to 80. And so if that's my expectation,
but
Mizzou
my
could be up
question
55
is
to 40,
like,
but
again,
I'm still thinking they're getting to 80.
My question though is that if you hold them in a 10 to 15 minute stretch to 20 or somewhere in that range, obviously to come back in the game, they've got to spend a whole lot of energy on defense to allow themselves to get back into it. Does that affect their offensive efficiency? Yeah, they've gotten to 90 a bunch, and they've gotten to 100, and that's all well and good. How many times did they do that when they had to come from behind against the opponent that they were facing? Not many.
Sure.
Like that.
That's probably
there were
true.
maybe opening runs that they gave up, like an 11-2 run to start out the game, but then they snapped right back into it. Like if you, like Mizzou with a dominant first half, like I think has it, they may not be better than Arkansas in the second half, but it could be enough to let them close out that game against a team that doesn't have its best resources. And
they've gotten to 80 in 7 of their last 8, the Florida game notwithstanding, when they went for 77 and they lost by 40 or whatever it was. So I guess, I mean, score prediction. Let's put it on the line there, because I'll be curious to see what style of game you think. Because I could see Missouri taking a lead. I actually think there's value on Missouri first half spread. And by the way, I think that last time I gave out on a Mizzou basketball game was the Oklahoma game. And if I'm not mistaken, I said under 72.5, and I believe that hit. That was a lower scoring first half, kind of the half that I thought we'd get. Yeah, 61 points in that game. Mizzou only getting 26 of them. This is another game where I'll put out a first half pick and say Mizzou first half money line is kind of interesting, but I don't think that guarantees you the win, even if it's an 8 to 10 point margin at half.
Mizzou will, in order to win this game, they need to absolutely dominate points in the paint. Arkansas does not defend inside the 3-point line very well, so that's your exploitation for the most part.
Come on, T.O.
T.O., Mark Mitchell, find your spot around
Even
the lane.
Phillips.
Yeah, Sean Phillips. Yeah, he's got a lane to do it in this game, I think.
Because he'll dunk on Brazil's head. I mean, that's something we can see if they try to get him inside defending.
No doubt. Mizzou wins 84-79.
Arkansas doesn't get to 80. I like the first half money line better than the game, but my recent run of being wrong on Mizzou predictions the Arkansas one, I didn't think on the road they had a chance against Arkansas, so that one I kind of throw out. But yeah, the Oklahoma game, I don't know what happened, so I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and I'm gonna pick Mizzou to win this game. It's the formula of they're a 2.5 point underdog at home. That's what we saw against Vanderbilt. That's what we saw against Tennessee. It wasn't applicable at Oklahoma because it was a road game, but applicable here at home. I'll go Tigers, get it done. I think it's up and down. Give me 84-82 Missouri.
Wow. It's a tight one.
One and over the total.
That's true.
Just barely, just by a couple few.
Tell us your predictions, Mizzou fans. Mizzou, Arkansas, tomorrow, sold out Mizzou Arena. Who you got? 875-5847 here on The Big Show. You can also comment on our YouTube and our Facebook channels where we're live right now, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports and Facebook.com/KTGR Big Show to chime in and get your thoughts in before this college basketball weekend, which we will talk more about the games from the betting angles with Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com as he joins us next on The Big Show.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR. KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Hickman wrestlers Jordan Fincher and Luke Hayden, who both won individual state titles at the Class 4 Wrestling Championships at 165 and 175. The wins helped Hickman Boys Wrestling finish second in the team standings.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too.
Time's running out on your best chance to show off all the coolest tools, gadgets, and equipment that guys want. The 2026 Como Man Show, Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Events Center where the Boone County Fair is held. Yeah, that's coming up real fast, and it's the best and most fun way to show every man they need what you got. Bring your best stuff, show it off, and have a blast. Secure your spot now and get ready for the Como Man Show at ComoManShow.com. Hey, construction dude, congrats on the killer contract in Cape. Sweet. So, how are you going to get that Mongo crane down to the job site? Here's a haul of an idea. Just Google I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for heavy equipment hauling, too. Semis, dozers, RVs, goosenecks, farm and construction stuff, school buses, boats, bring it. If you use it, they can move it. Call the team they think you'll really love to meet. I70towing.com. Goosenecks. Give me some long necks.
If your kitchen has been on your to-do list for years, this is your sign to start the conversation. Bax Homeworks specializes in kitchen remodels that turn everyday spaces into something you actually love coming home to. And with bookings piling up quickly, now's the time to call. Get an estimate and lock in. Spots are filling fast, so seriously don't wait. See their beautiful work on Facebook or at BaxHomeworks.com. Bax Homeworks, getting your to-do list done.
What happens when a chef, 2 pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or two. See, billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Boogie on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
My name is Josh. I am an exterior project specialist with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors. If you are living in an aging home, you may start noticing items around your home that need repair or replacement. For example, your roof, shingles blowing off, roof leak pop up over time. If you're in an aging home and you look at your windows, you may start to see fogging up between the glass so you can't quite get it clean, or sashes that don't quite open just right and don't lock just right. With something like siding, you're going to notice that your paint is fading, and that may be a sign it's getting old. Maybe the vinyl siding on your home is brittle. And finally, if you have a deck, this is a common item of failure. Your stairs start to get a little wobbly and feel unsafe. If you notice any of these things happening to your home, give us a call and we'll let you know whether it be repair or replacement. We're going to take care of you.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here, and it's a big weekend in college basketball as the regular season concludes across most of the country, certainly in the power conferences. Mizzou with a big one tomorrow as they take on Arkansas. And here to talk all things college hoops from the Vegas angle, Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com for sports from a Vegas perspective. On Twitter at Rob Veno Sports, and WagerTalk.com is where you can go and see some great betting info. And Robbie, with Mizzou hosting this Arkansas team that may or may not have Darius Acuff, looks like it may be leaning towards no at the moment. How do you kind of see that affecting things? And certainly with Mizzou having maybe a little more on the line when it comes to seeding in the conference.
Yeah, well, first things first, I mean, the injury is of the utmost importance here. I didn't really know if he was going to be able to get through the game the other night, but Arkansas at home and Bud Walton did the right thing, blew out Texas, and everything looked okay. But now, maybe since Arkansas has got an eye on the SEC tournament, maybe a little bit of cautiousness with Acuff and maybe protect him for this game. Arkansas, we did just see this game recently, played in Arkansas, and it was a game where I thought Missouri showed really well, guys. 94-86 loss, but considering the circumstance, I thought they went in there and played a really, really good game. I think that might have been the game where Arkansas was off of the double OT against Alabama. I'm trying to remember.
That's right.
The top of my head. But regardless, they played really well. Now they get them on their home floor. And it seems like for Mizzou, and again, I don't, in my industry, we don't pay a ton of attention to the bracketologists, so to speak. However, they all kind of see things a little bit differently. But I think to a man, they see Mizzou in a situation where they could use a win. And so I think the mindset, last home game, probably a little sense of urgency, a little bit of revenge in what's been, I don't know, you guys tell me, this just looks like it's been a manufactured rivalry between Missouri and Arkansas since Mizzou came to the SEC just so they could have a rival. But regardless, it's become somewhat of a rivalry. And the number in this game kind of does indicate that maybe no Acuff in this one. It opened at 2.5. I'm seeing as low as 1.5 as these numbers for Saturday start to pop up. We'll see where it goes from here. But I could see Missouri being in a focused mindset with Arkansas. Maybe, and their home road splits are pretty significant. And I could see Arkansas maybe with a little less attention to detail here. So I'm going to take a look at this game, maybe from the Mizzou side. The total here opened, I think I'm seeing 162.5, and in some places now down to 160.5, which would also correlate to perhaps no Darius Acuff. But I think Mizzou's in a pretty good situational spot in this one. And if I throw the fundamentals into it, the 94-86 in Bud Walton indicates that Mizzou can play with these guys.
Yeah, certainly a game that for Missouri is important as they grapple for some seeding. So we'll see early Saturday how the Tigers perform there. And then, Robbie, obviously some other interesting games across the Southeastern Conference. I want to jump to Lexington, Kentucky. There haven't been many teams that have been able to handle the Florida Gators. Do you see this as one that on the road, Florida will be able to roll again as a solid road favorite, or can Kentucky surprise someone here?
The first thing that comes to mind when you're in these types of situations is Florida has sewn up the SEC, sewn up the number one seed, so maybe they'll look beyond this game. But then you have to realize that they're also looking for a number one national seed in the tournament. So I think their focus will be there. And the way they're destroying teams at this point in time, there's no reason to think that Todd Golden's going to pull back the reins on his team. Now, he did sit Thomas Houck the other night, and they still came out with a incredible second half without him and destroyed Mississippi State. So the talent level is there. The current form is there. And for Kentucky, guys, it's just way too hard to gauge this entire season. It started early. It continues now. I can't tell you how many times throughout the season I've either heard or read Mark Pope quotes where basically the same message is relayed all the time. He cannot get his team to consistently play as a team. Too many independent players on this team, too many guys looking for theirs and not for the team. And they sort of go in spurts because of that. When they play together, they look really good. When they don't play together, they show up bad. So for me, it's not a team I want to get involved with. Kentucky, they could show up big for this game. But the way Florida's going right now, and still with some motivation to become a number one seed in the NCAA tournament, I don't know that I want to go against them. Florida is a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Might be a shade too much against Kentucky in Rupp in their final home game. Maybe Kentucky bands together here for a really good effort. But I don't know that they match Florida's front line, and that's a concern for every team across the country.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com with us on the Big Show, KTGR, in the KTGR app. Another key SEC game between Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Certainly a couple of teams not only fighting for that SEC seeding, but they're also maybe in the same realm that a lot of bracketologists put them in, maybe a 5 to 6 seed range, trying to maybe climb up and make a run here late to improve it. But Tennessee at home is favored by about 5. I mean, we've seen both teams have a few letdown points here and there, but who do you trust more in a situation like this?
Well, at Vandy and revenge and Tennessee without Nate Ament probably points right towards Vanderbilt, right? And Tennessee beat them the first time around, and Tennessee without their prize 6'10" freshman kind of leaves things in the hands of Jacoby Gillespie as far as consistent scoring is concerned. I don't know that Tennessee has proven to have a third scorer on this team on a consistent basis all season long. Vandy getting a little bit healthier as the season goes on. They've had Duke Miles back for a few games now, which is important to them. I think there's a little revenge angle here. I believe that Tennessee's a little shorthanded and wouldn't be surprised if Vanderbilt's able to repay Tennessee for what happened in Nashville not too long ago. I mean, this memory probably sticks in the back of Vandy's mind. And Mark Byington, everything I just said about Mark Pope, the Mark Byington quotes have been really positive this season. I think back to a point where Vandy had lost a game to Florida, and he called it unacceptable, a 98-94 victory. And he was really referring to a 2-game losing streak being unacceptable. They lost to Arkansas following that and then went on a 3-game win streak. So I think this team, they've been shorthanded throughout the season. Now, like I say, they're back to being almost whole. I don't think Frankie Collins is back for this game. I'm not positive about that, but I like Vanderbilt in this spot.
I'll ask you one more SEC team in game here, Robbie. Auburn, I want you to weigh in on them because obviously they're kind of the talk of what the bracketologists have to deal with right now. But obviously they could probably do really well for themselves to go to Bama in a rivalry game and win. But they're a sizable underdog. How do you kind of see the Iron Bowl of basketball playing out here on Saturday night?
Yeah, just bad place, bad time for Auburn because Alabama's off the 10-point loss to Georgia the other day. So I wouldn't think that it's a favorable spot for Auburn, who's, basically outmanned anyway. For Alabama, things had been going really, really good. That Charles Bediako thing that happened, maybe about 5 weeks ago and was back and forth until finally he was positively ruled ineligible. At that point, it seemed to me like Alabama took over and became the Alabama-type team that Nate Oates wanted them to be. They still haven't played enough defense, but they've never played enough defense under Nate Oates. But the scoring was there, 117, 90, 100. Even in a loss the other day, 88 against Georgia. But I don't think Auburn's in a really good spot right here. I'm trying to check the opening number here, guys, while we talk about this game, just to see if Alabama is in a good spot point spread wise. And the board on Saturday is always so extensive without rotation numbers. It's hard to find these games immediately.
Robbie, I'm seeing 8.5, at least in one spot.
Are you seeing 8.5?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's well within range here. I'd probably, guys, be more inclined to bet the total over. Alabama just seems to smash totals no matter how high the odds maker makes them. So I'll definitely give this game some consideration. I like the Alabama side, and I'll take a look at the total.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Of course, season concluding, regular season, of course, with North Carolina and Duke as well. And North Carolina dealt some tough news today with Caleb Wilson having to undergo season-ending surgery. So that obviously affects him, not just for this game, but also moving forward in the postseason. But it seems that odds makers certainly are giving Duke a lot of love anyway, and probably even more so, up to 16.5 on that number. Just wonder your read on that and what it means for North Carolina now that they don't have Wilson.
Well, I think if you're UNC, you're happy you got that win earlier this year. The Miracle 3 that won that game against Duke, one of Duke's only 2 losses. I believe they're both by 1 point. The other one was to Texas Tech earlier this year. So Duke's got obvious revenge to play for here. Again, it's a team playing for a 1 seed. They probably have that clinched, but you want to make sure you never want to put it in the committee's hands. This game, to me, guys, the number's huge as far as the size is concerned, but the total just looks to be a bit low, 144.5. Now, UNC has played without Caleb Wilson now for 4 or 5 games, and the offense has still been really good, and they're still playing at pace. So you have to believe that they're still going to score at least enough points to help push this thing over 144.5. If I'm looking at the Duke side, they're probably going to come out breathing fire. If you just do the mathematics on this game, you could split the team totals into what probably will be 80.5 on the Duke side, 63.5 on the Carolina side. Duke to score over 80 points, to score 81 or 82 seems absolutely probable in this case. So I think an early look from me for tomorrow, as far as clients are concerned and myself, probably is going to be Duke team total. And I can't see why it wouldn't go over full game as well. The Caleb Wilson news will obviously push this number toward Duke and toward the under where public is concerned. Hopefully there's not enough larger money to offset that and we can get a good price here.
Robbie, what free pick do you like this weekend?
You know, guys, I'm going to say it anyway, but I played a game as my best bet for today, and it's now moved as much as 3 points in some instances. Missouri Valley Conference tournament tonight. Bradley, Valparaiso goes about 7 o'clock tonight, Eastern time, 6 Central. The total on this game was bet all the way down from 141.5 opener down to 133.5. Obviously, Arch Madness, known for lower scoring tournament games. And don't tell Drake that. They just put 100 on Belmont and probably eliminated Belmont from the tournament. But Valpo, let me start with Bradley. Bradley, real quick, guys, when I bet it at 133.5, they played 32 games this year. 28 out of those 32, 7 out of every 8 went over 133.5. So that number is humongously in favor of over at that point. And it includes the 2 that they played against Valpo. The lowest scoring game they played against Valparaiso was 137. Now, kind of what I saw out of Drake this afternoon even adds to this play. Drake saw these rims last night, didn't shoot it well, came out today and scored 100. Valpo played last night, didn't shoot it well, play again tonight, their second look at these rims. I'd expect them to score a little bit more. Bradley's been an over machine where this number is concerned all season long. So right now, I'm staring at 136. It's been bet up 2.5 points since I played it, but I still think there's room enough to get this thing over. So how about Bradley, Valparaiso, MVC tournament tonight over 136?
We love it. First Arch Madness with legal betting in Missouri. Take advantage. Let's go. Love that from Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. Here on the Big Show KTGR, on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports. WagerTalk.com is where you go and see their great betting info. Thanks for coming on, Robbie. Hope you're well. We'll talk again soon.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good weekend.
You too. It's 4:44 here on the Big Show KTGR and the KTGR app. Crazy upset today, right? Drake getting it done against Belmont. First time ever that a 9 had beaten a 1 in Arch Madness, I believe.
And it was 100-79. Can I lament? Maybe this goes under the bus. I don't know. I'm actually going to the semifinal game tomorrow afternoon. I had anticipated I would get to see Belmont play basketball. I will not be seeing Belmont play basketball because of this upset. And it's like, that's great, but Drake's a sub 500 team. Like, I wanted to see Belmont Murray State. That's what I was hoping to see. And, not going to. But
don't you get both? Don't you get tickets to both if you're going tomorrow?
I do, but I'm taking Gabe. And so I don't know if we're going to be sticking around for the second one. That would be kind of a longer day. But it's just like that. I was thinking I was going to get one thing. We're seeing Illinois Chicago take on Drake because IUC is up 19 on Murray. So,
man,
I don't think either team we're going to watch is going to be in the NCAA tournament because I imagine the winner on the other side, whether it's Bradley or the 3 seeds escaping me. But yeah, I think we're going to see a meaningless semifinal game. But it'll be fun. And Gabe will be none the wiser. He won't care at all. He'll just be happy to be there.
Of course. That's what it's all about. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. All right, under the bus coming up next. Was it a productive meeting or just a chance for a bunch of irked college administrators, former coaches, and politicians to just air out grievances? I think it was the latter. We'll get to that next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou basketball tomorrow closes out the regular season against Arkansas, ranked number 20 in the country. Tigers, with a win, can finish as high as 4th in the SEC standings, which would give them a double bye in the conference tournament. If they lose, they could fall to as low as 10th in the standings. Could be interesting to watch the SEC availability report on the Arkansas side. Their star freshman Darius Acuff, according to John Rothstein of CBS Sports, is doubtful to play tomorrow with an undisclosed injury. Tigers take on the Razorbacks at 11 a.m. tomorrow in front of a sold-out Mizzou Arena. Pregame begins at 10:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou baseball underway in their second game of a 4-game set against UIC. Mizzou won yesterday, but currently down to the Flames. Bottom of the second inning, it's 9-1 UIC. They'll play Saturday and Sunday as well at Taylor Stadium to finish out that series. You can hear it all, including right now on the KTGR app. Blues at the trade deadline deal away their captain, Braden Shen, to the New Jersey Devils. They also trade Justin Falk to Detroit. Trade deadline concluded at 2 p.m. Central today. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. It's an ABC 17 Storm Track weather alert day. Potential of strong storms, especially into this evening. A line of strong storms late tonight could bring damaging wind gusts and heavy rain through early tomorrow morning. Heading into the rest of the weekend, temperatures will be much cooler tomorrow behind a cold front as we struggle to make it past 50 degrees. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The foundation is set.
Missouri knocks off the #1 team in the nation.
The frame is built.
On the run, Mitchell for the plus, Missouri by 20.
And the gates,
the habits, the response to detail, the execution, all that stuff matters.
Are open.
Drives right baseline to the rim, jams it as he hangs and got fouled.
This is your radio home for Mizzou basketball.
Cruz, here comes the three. Bang, he splashed it home.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
This is Phil Fortaleza here with Mizzou basketball's Anthony Robinson II and his mama Nisha, getting ready for the latest Sticklin' and Sticklin' injury law commercial.
Aunt, you got your line?
I got it, Mom.
Go ahead.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Call Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
Mom, that's my line.
At Sticklin' and Sticklin', all they do is personal injury.
Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
It's a slam dunk.
The best thing about spring is that there's no single best thing about spring. It's all good. Golfing,
peeing off the deck.
Grilling,
peeing off the deck.
You can do everything outside again.
Peeing off the deck.
Practice your aim at cornhole and peeing off your Crutch's deck. You don't want to hit those railing posts. All the beauty and fun of spring just go better with Crutch's custom exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. See what they can do for you at CrutchesCustomExteriors.com.
Stop scrolling, start saving. Hit shopmidmo.com for the deal of the week. Every Friday through Sunday, grab hot gift card deals from local businesses. It's local, it's limited, it's live now. Time to start saving. Columbia's #1 choice for safe, nurturing dog care is at Dog Days Play Care. Your dog is more than just a guest, they're family. DogDaysPlayCare.com. Hurry while supplies last. Get your deal of the week now at
shopmidmo.com. shopmidmo.com.
Your foresight is so good, you can practically see into the future. But fortune telling isn't the career path you want to take. Instead of predicting people's futures, you can help build them at Fuse 32. Because you recognize things before they can even become problems. You love the thrill of success and getting paid for it. All that's left to do now is look into that crystal ball and see yourself on the sales team at Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Apply now at Fuse32.com.
And I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. A auto claim came when my wife was rear-ended. Everyone was safe, but that left a lot of cosmetic damage on her brand new car. We called Phyllis, said, hey, this is what happened. And she's made it a very streamlined process. Phyllis lined out our rental car and made everything just so easy. And having 3 kids and losing a vehicle is a big deal. But Phyllis went to bat for us, got everything lined out, and made it a very easy process.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Yeah, so this whole roundtable happening at the White House today with Donald Trump and 50 other people either used to be in college sports and don't really have a stake in it, or are politicians that just don't know at all how any of this works. All in all, those people have been put in a room and they're going to fix it all. Don't worry. It's all going to be saved. We're all going to be just fine. It was supposed to be a meeting that's supposed to take an hour. I think it started at 3:00 and it's still going. And I guarantee you that nothing has been accomplished. It's just
Not one thing.
You can't expect to have a 60-minute meeting with 50 people in the room that all need a chance to speak and say what they think about college sports and what needs to change. Guess what? Nothing's getting done. Like,
no.
This is
my favorite thing is, and like there's some merit to this idea that some entity needs to step in and address some things. But my favorite is like Congress needs to do XYZ about college sports. Good luck. Good luck getting those people to figure it out. I mean, they don't have any idea of what goes on.
Yeah.
And so their hearts could even be in the right place and they're going to get it wrong. And there's going to be other ulterior agendas involved, that, let alone just the logistics of having a meeting like this. Like there's no hope.
No, no.
There's not ever that entity that can like be knowledgeable on the topic and have the best interest of all the stakeholders, at place, and then come up with a solution. Like it's just the bureaucracy. It's going to get all lost in the shuffle with that, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. And Greg Sankey's there. He famously said, quote,
he's probably rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Man.
Quote, you don't solve really big problems with big rooms filled with people, end quote. Yes.
It's funny, though, because I don't want them solved in the back rooms either, with just a couple of powerful people getting to decide,
right,
and having their own agenda be favored. But, he's kind of right, because this is the bureaucracy angle of you're never going to get a step forward with all these people involved having their hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, I wonder if Tiger Woods made it. Apparently, he was one of the people invited.
For what?
I don't know.
Well,
as well as the president of the New York Yankees also there.
Well, he needs to be there.
I guess.
Did they serve lunch? I mean, maybe they just wanted a free lunch.
I don't know. Maybe they just needed a trip to the White House. Also, under the bus too. This was kind of weird. Rashawn Gary of the Packers, he posted on Instagram a goodbye to Green Bay, I guess kind of signaling that he was about to get cut. Then he deleted it. And so, and the Packers have kind of said, no, he's still on the team. Like,
yeah, I thought I saw he was cut.
Yeah. And he deleted it apparently. And all the reporters are like, okay, I guess that means all the options are open. As you were. That was Mike Garofalo's direct words, NFL Network.
Wild.
I mean, first you think you're cut, and then now all of a sudden not. I would like to see if Rashawn Gary's available for, I don't know, Chiefs.
Yeah, you would take him?
I'd take him, for the right price, Yeah. Maybe
funny.
have that graphic still ready to go, Rashawn. Like,
yeah.
Just in case. Maybe you were wrong today, but another day you might be right. We'll see. So Japan and Chinese Taipei last night in the WBC, early on in the game, Shohei Ohtani comes up with the bases loaded and cranks one for a grand slam. And the game's in Japan.
In the Tokyo Dome.
All of the seats are filled, everybody is there to see Shohei, and in his first at bat, he delivers like that. I mean, that's unbelievable, man. That's stuff of storybooks.
I've got a friend who is there actually covering the World Baseball Classic in Japan. Like, I think saw 3 years ago in the last event, just kind of some of these atmospheres in these games, and like down in Miami was there for some of those games, and just thought, I've got to go to Japan to see Shohei play in this event. And has told me that, just in passing, obviously he stands out, looks like an American, and says, I'm here to cover the World Baseball Classic. Inevitably, the first words out of their mouths are, "Oh, Shohei's here." Like, hey, Shohei's back. Like, they all know, and I think it's they beat Chinese Taipei, right? They were going to do that anyway. Yeah. But I think it's so cool that Shohei delivers a moment like that. He had 5 RBIs in the game, and to have that, I mean, the crowd pop was, just watching the video, insane to see, what that country he's done some things since he last played in Japan, right? Like, he's accomplished some things over here in MLB, and they follow very closely. So they love the opportunity to celebrate him. And when he's up to bat, so quiet before the swing. It's like a tennis match.
Really?
Very, very fascinating stuff. Yeah.
That's something that I've got to experience at some point, I hope, if I ever get a chance. That's pretty cool. Coming up, put together a rooting guide for SEC basketball this weekend, and our picks of the week at 5:45.
Gardening season is just around the corner. Get a jump start on your garden with quality burpee seeds at Menards. Choose from over 400 varieties of flower, vegetable, and herb seeds on sale now. It's the perfect time to plant seeds indoors and have them ready for spring. Start your garden off right and save big money on burpee seeds. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration has answered a lot of your calls over the years, and you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
My name is Max Volkner. I'm a marketing consultant with Zimmer Communications. Working as a marketing consultant was not something I was expecting to do in my lifetime whatsoever. So getting the job here and then having so many helpful people around you to help you be successful was really awesome for me and is what made me fall in love with this job. Team is great. We all want to see each other succeed. I think that's a huge part of working here and huge benefit of working here.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at APIProjectFitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Setup. I'm Sean Ryder. Jason Tatum is starting for the Celtics tonight. This less than 10 months after tearing his right Achilles in the playoffs. Tatum making his season debut tonight in Boston when the Celtics take on the Mavericks. Are the Celtics now the favorites in the East? PTI host Michael Wilbach.
I don't see how it doesn't make them the favorites in the East. Remember, everybody's talking about or considering the question, well, how long does it take to work him back in? Are they going to have troubles? They don't have to work some strange dude in. It's Jason Tatum. They're wearing rings, some of those guys, including Jaylen Brown, because of Jason Tatum, too.
You can watch Jason Tatum and the Celtics facing the Mavericks on ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern. North Carolina freshman standout Caleb Wilson will miss the rest of the season after breaking his right thumb at yesterday's practice. He had surgery. Wilson expected to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. After one season with Las Vegas, the Raiders will release quarterback Geno Smith, barring a trade when the New league year starts on Wednesday, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
From Faro, 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush, back to the wall, and it's Goddard. And Arrowhead. Touchdown! Kansas City! To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
It's an SEC Rooting Guide Friday as we take a look at the slate for tomorrow. College hoops regular season wrapping up. Obviously, plenty at stake in terms of where Missouri lands in the SEC tournament bracket. What seed do they end up with? It could be anywhere from 3 to 10. So, yeah, we'll come up with a rooting guide, maybe a contingent rooting guide based on how Mizzou v. Arkansas goes tomorrow morning, tipping off 11 a.m. But we'll talk about that rooting guide coming up here in a couple of minutes. We'll talk some Blues, too, at 5:25. No, they didn't get the Parayko trade done. Yes, they traded 2 other players and got 2 first-round picks in those deals. So, all's well that ends well. We'll talk about how we feel the Blues handled the trade deadline in the NHL around 5:25. And then our picks of the week before we get out of here. 573-875-KTGR. That's the number to call or text. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Can Mizzou pull off one more regular season upset tomorrow in men's hoops? Maybe they have a chance to do it. Darius Acuff reportedly doubtful, according to John Rothstein of CBS Sports. That could affect things on the Arkansas side. Played really well against Mizzou and the Razorbacks' 94-86 win in Fayetteville earlier in the year. Look, for Mizzou, I think it's a very gettable game still. They have been similar underdogs like this and won games at home. They have to ride that crowd, and I think they have to get out to a strong start. I think that's their best path to victory. If it can lay a foundation for the second half where even if Arkansas makes a run, I think it can still have enough energy in the tank to stave that off and eventually close out the game. So I think the first half pretty crucial for Mizzou. We'll see how it goes. 11 a.m. tip-off tomorrow, 10:30 pregame right here on KTGR.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
And right after that game, scoreboard watching will be noted, of course, for Mizzou's purposes, especially if they lose. Lots of results could affect their seeding. If the Tigers lose the game tomorrow, they could fall to as far as 10th in the standings. In that case, you're rooting for Tennessee to win if Mizzou loses. That way Vanderbilt doesn't get to rise up. And also teams like Texas, you want them to lose. Maybe also Georgia, and you want Florida to be Kentucky. But if Mizzou wins, then Mizzou could get the double bye if Tennessee loses to Vandy. So your allegiance might flip based on how Mizzou does tomorrow.
Number 3.
Yeah, a couple last-minute deals by the Blues at the trade deadline. They deal their captain, Braden Shen, to the New Jersey Devils. In exchange, they get a couple of players back, including one prospect, a first and a third-round pick, and kind of a similar haul, that almost exact same package that they got from Detroit in exchange for Justin Falk, the defenseman for the Blues. So all in all, that's a pretty good haul that you get out of those two guys. And, well, they cooperated. Both of them had no trade clauses, and they decide to waive them for this deal.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Mizzou baseball currently down 11-1 to UIC, so the 9-game win streak is in jeopardy. That series will continue this weekend. Mizzou softball plays at Florida for their first conference series. That starts tomorrow. Mizzou wrestling underway in the Big 12 Championship. Semifinals about to get underway. Tigers had 3 wrestlers make it to the semis, including Gage Walker, who had an upset at 133. We'll see how they do.
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
The WBC is back, and, man, I forgot how much I loved the energy that it brings this time of year.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. I mean, we were talking about, obviously, the Japan one yesterday with Shohei Ohtani hitting that grand slam. That was an awesome singular moment. But I'm even just going to other games, like watching some of the ones that were going on today. I forgot totally just how passionate these players get in these settings. Like, Venezuela was celebrating every hit, man, and every run, and high five and everything like that. Huge like fist pumps on the bases, and the same thing for even Great Britain, and then obviously later on tonight, United States going to play their first game. Mexico earlier today, which, I mean, it's kind of interesting how each game goes. Not every game is the same, obviously, in the States, but you do get good crowds, like for some of these countries, especially, Mexico is playing in Houston, so they got it felt like a home game for them, pretty much.
I mean, that's how it was for when Cuba played in Miami last time. They had a huge Cuban contingent of fans that, showed out for that game and for their country. It is a really cool event. I think it's gotten better and better with each iteration that they've done it. They learn from the previous event on, okay, here's something that we want to incorporate. Here's the way that we want to pull this off. And I think they do better and better with it each and every time. And I think it fills a really nice niche, a la the NHL kind of starting that Four Nations Cup that we thought was, that was very USA, Canada centric. This is much bigger than that with the number of countries that are represented. And you might look at some of these rosters and go, okay, I maybe only know a couple guys from some of these teams. You look at some of these other rosters. I mean, you want to talk about a lineup for a team like the Dominican Republic.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about some 1 through 9 madness. It's sometimes even more than that. The guys that have to be benched on some of these teams are ridiculous. Pitching is often what's going to hold back any of these teams if they don't win the championship. Japan is always so tough just because of their cohesiveness as a team. A lot of guys that have experience playing together and playing a style of baseball that can be so fun to watch. But I think it's a really cool event, and I'm glad it's kind of catching more steam and more players. I think especially when it comes to Team USA, some guys that saw how fun that last ending was with Shohei and Mike Trout, and they said, I might need to get involved in that next time. Some of the bigger stars are really embracing it. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, can't wait for it to develop over the next week with pool play, and then like it'll happen fast. Like they're gonna get through it in like a couple weeks,
roll through it.
Half.
I mean, having it during spring training, that is sort of the elephant in the room of like, when do you have this event and when are guys willing to participate where they're not as worried about risking injury? You normally have another 3 weeks to ramp up to full, your full measure of health and performance. And so you do have to kind of do a little bit of the bullpenning and keeping the arms safe and healthy. But I think they do a nice job of running it in the best that they can, with obviously MLB teams supporting a lot of their guys being able to go and participate.
So can't wait for that. And again, Team USA's first game tonight is at 7:00. So we'll see how that lineup, and obviously that lineup's loaded. Bobby Wood Jr. leading off. So
it's going to be good. It's gonna be a good lineup. I mean, Nolan Arenado was like, they didn't ask me this time, so I'm playing for Puerto Rico. Like that's you got to be in your prime to be in that Team USA lineup.
Didn't know you could switch. Is that like a one-time switch type deal, kind of like the World Cup?
I think
like you can.
He said they didn't ask me in Puerto Rico. Yachty did ask me. Yachty's the manager of Puerto Rico. Arenado has that heritage, so he's eligible. And Albert Pujols, of course, managing the Dominican team. I need that matchup. I don't know when it would happen. I need that
Dominican
matchup,
Republic
Yachty.
and Puerto Rico.
Yachty and Albert. I need to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to pull it up here in a second, and we'll see if that's possible at some point. But in the meantime, you can talk about the SEC schedule and the SEC routing guide that we could talk about put together here on the big show.
I think we did. We might have told people we were going to talk about that, so we probably should.
Probably should. You think they'd be okay if we didn't? No, we want to.
No, let's go ahead and do it, because I do think it's a lot of. But Andy, this might be our most complicated routing guide we've ever done.
I agree.
It's contingent.
Yes.
On like how aggressive do you want to be as a Missouri fan of getting to the 3 seed or the 4 seed versus how much do you say, hey, I really just want to focus on avoiding Wednesday, like the 9 or the 10, and whether Missouri beats Arkansas could impact those dreams that we may have.
Yeah, I mean, immediately out of the gate, if Mizzou wins against Arkansas, then you want Vanderbilt to win. If Mizzou loses, well, then you want Tennessee to win. Like that. Right. that's the most clear flip. And honestly, it's the only one that could flip because no other results impact Mizzou other than Vandy, Tennessee, if Mizzou wins.
Right.
Like that's the only game that could affect their seeding. They're either 4 or 5 with a win against Arkansas, and then whatever happens in Vandy, Tennessee determines whether they are one of those 2 seeds. But if they lose, then there are like at least 3 different games that could affect where Mizzou lands, and probably more. That's the complicated part about this. So yeah, we can go through it. I mean, regardless of that, would you want to see either Vandy or Tennessee win the game? I
like Vandy. I like them. They're more likable to me as a team.
I agree.
I don't even hate this year's Tennessee team. Vescovy is gone. He was there for 105 years.
That's so
some of those guys that just lasted forever. There's always those guys for certain teams. And so, I don't really mind this year's Tennessee team. And there's no bad blood. I'm happy. I was at that game. But Vanderbilt, I think, is, I like to see them. They started on such a charge. And as sort of representing the SEC, I want to see them not fizzle out necessarily. So I think it'd be a nice win to spread on that game.
For Vandy, Tennessee, I saw conflicting numbers. I saw 4.5, 5, and 5.5.
Who's favored?
Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of root for the upset there. If Missouri wasn't so staked in it, I would say, I'd rather Vanderbilt win.
Right.
Yeah. But I'll be rooting for whatever Mizzou needs and
of course,
pretty easily there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would agree. Vandy is the more fun team, and Tennessee's already beaten them. So I kind of like seeing that revenge angle for them. And especially if Vandy starts fast, Tennessee kind of needs to keep at arm's length for a lot of the game. And then eventually, once the second half happens, they come out of their shell and they're able to put teams away. But if Vandy comes out and punches them in the mouth early, then that could be a really fun game down the stretch. Texas, Oklahoma.
I'm for Oklahoma, removed of you telling me, no, here's what Missouri needs. And I think Mizzou needs Texas to lose anyway, so that's pretty safe.
I think they do, yeah.
Because that's the tiebreak you don't have, just with that head-to-head. And Texas losing is one less thing to worry about in terms of a team that, we know if Texas loses, they will be below Missouri in the SEC tournament seedings. So I want it for that reason. I want it because I think the better Oklahoma looks, maybe mentally the better I feel about that dreadful game from earlier in the week. And I think Oklahoma has a chance to win. They're an underdog, but I think they have a chance to win that game. I like them in the way they're playing right now, and I'll be rooting for Oklahoma in that game. Yeah.
Would you like a quick counterpoint to that?
I would.
So say Oklahoma wins that game, Mizzou loses against Arkansas, and then everything else is like chalky, favorites win the rest of the games. Mizzou would be the 7 seed. They would face Texas in the 7,
which obviously was not a great matchup. That stupid tree that they have, vocatitis, caused them some fits, and then opened things up, I feel like, for their guards. I just didn't like the matchup. Missouri would be the 7. Texas would beat whoever they would beat.
Probably South Carolina or LSU.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then that would be a rematch against Texas. That's okay, though. I mean, that's okay. If that's Missouri not handling its business. You're right, though, of that. But
my fear is that Texas loses that game. They're still squarely on the bubble. If they beat another team that would still technically be on the bubble because they didn't beat Arkansas.
So then you do. If it was the final spot somehow, Missouri versus Texas,
right?
And Texas gets the head-to-head
and
twice.
Maybe it's not. We don't know.
Yeah,
but it's that aspect of it. 2 bubble teams facing
losing
off.
to Texas and saying that's probably a tournament team. It's one where I feel like it's not really going to harm you. A neutral site. I don't know where they are in the net, but it's probably still a somewhat respectable game.
Yeah,
they're top 50. So you're talking quad 1. I think it's fine, but that's a good counterpoint. Yeah, I just want to see Mizzou win. I mean, they're a 2.5 point underdog. It's not anything crazy. So maybe it's, Mizzou handle his business. But yeah, once Mizzou ends, we'll definitely know kind of where they stand. But the counterpoint, Texas winning and Mizzou losing, Texas is definitely ahead of Mizzou. And so you need one other thing that flips, and you're not worried about whether you're the 7 or the 8. Now you're playing on Wednesday. And I know I don't want that. So I don't know that I love the matchup against Texas a second time, but I do think that Missouri would have some adjustments to make if they had to face them again.
They would need more than just Texas beating Oklahoma for them to drop to either the 9 or the 10. Then you're also talking about, Kentucky would have to win and beat Florida.
Would they?
I don't think so.
Because Georgia wins and Texas wins. Georgia and Texas are both above Mizzou. I know that for sure.
But Mizzou is still above Vandy and Kentucky in that situation. And so at that point, you're definitely rooting for Tennessee for Vandy to not pass you. They would be a game ahead of you.
Get to 11.
And same thing for Kentucky. And so that would drop either of those two things happening would then drop Mizzou down into the Wednesday territory.
Right. But the Kentucky thing probably doesn't happen. I don't think Florida loses to Kentucky, although I do think it's a closer game than we might give credit for. But then all right, so Arkansas is 3, Tennessee's 4, Georgia, Texas, 5, 6. I don't care if that's where they are. I'm just counting the number of teams Missouri is behind. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee. Wouldn't be crazy. The Vandy's 7, now Mizzou's 8. The Kentucky thing doesn't matter.
You're forgetting A&M. You're forgetting A&M in there. A&M is 11 and 7.
That's the one I just said. That's why Kentucky would not need to beat Florida for Mizzou to be on Wednesday. In that scenario, A&M would be the additional team that as long as they win, they would be above.
They're playing LSU. I think so
they're probably going to win.
They are on the road. So you at least monitor it and you say, okay, yeah, A&M, go ahead and win.
That's the one though, Andy, that Kentucky doesn't matter in that. You would drop behind
I think
Georgia.
It does.
It doesn't. I'll tell you how it doesn't. Georgia, Texas, A&M, Vanderbilt. You're behind all 4 of those teams.
Okay, but again,
if they win,
tell me who wins this weekend. We can simulate this. Let's say Kentucky wins. And
no, I don't care if Kentucky. Well, they don't matter, is what I'm saying. They could lose, and they're the 10, and you're the 9. Mizzou's the 9.
But that's in a scenario that Vanderbilt wins.
Exactly right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Vanderbilt, I think, can beat Tennessee. A&M is going to be favored to beat LSU. Georgia's going to be heavily favored over Mississippi State. Texas favored over Oklahoma. If those 4 things happen, Kentucky can lose by 100. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Kentucky's the 10, Missouri's the 9. That's the scenario that I think makes more sense to follow because Kentucky's going to be a 10-point underdog, I would imagine, against Florida. Less likely to see a result there. But if we both agree, hey, Vandy's an underdog to Tennessee, but we could see it, that's really the only upset that would have to happen for Missouri to be the 9.
Well, either one. Even if Vanderbilt loses, Kentucky wins.
Correct.
Kentucky can still hop Mizzou and bump them down to the 9.
Yes, I just think Kentucky is kind of a lost
less
cause
of a chance of happening.
Right. So really, as we revisit this conversation, not obviously knowing the Missouri outcome yet, you almost do need to root for Tennessee in that capacity, unless, if Missouri loses, Missouri
for Tennessee.
Really needs Tennessee, because that's the only. If Vanderbilt pulls that upset and everything else is chalk, Missouri is the 9, and I'm that is what it is. They're the 9. How are you coming up with that?
Tennessee wins. Tennessee wins and everything else is chalk. Then Mizzou's the 8.
No.
Vandy
wins.
Okay.
That's the only upset that happens in the whole day.
Okay. Yeah. Then they are
the only upset in the SEC. Missouri's the 9. That's the one to watch for. If Missouri loses, that becomes very, very important. Unless you get some help from an Oklahoma, from a Mississippi State, from a LSU, which those don't feel particularly likely. So, yikes. Yeah, I didn't realize it was quite that cut and dry, but it is, because the 2 teams that are the furthest back, Georgia and Texas, both have that head-to-head over you, and they have matchups where they're going to be favored by, 6 or 8 points this weekend.
It is fascinating.
Win, beat Arkansas. That's the answer.
Hey, you don't have to worry about any of that. If you will not fall further than 5 if you win tomorrow in the first game of the day.
And then You beat Arkansas. You put on producer Billy's doors cap.
Yeah, exactly. He's got plenty.
See if you're the double bye. That's the only two results that matter if you get the win over the Hogs. Yep.
And then you can be done with like stressing about Mizzou's seed after 3:30.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Pretty much.
A win. I'll be done stressing if they beat Arkansas. I'll be, 1:15 p.m. I'll be like, it's all gravy at that point. But yeah, I'll be at that Missouri Valley Arch Madness locked in on what that is happening in that Tennessee Vandy game, because that's certainly 5 versus 4 would be a big difference. But not worrying about 10 and 9 would be very, very enjoyable. That's what I'm hoping.
What about the ones that maybe don't affect Mizzou as much, like Alabama, Auburn?
Alabama. I beat them by 40. Just don't give anybody a reason for Auburn to, look good.
Yeah.
That one's easy for me. Not a Nate Oates fan, but I'm anti the medical sales son that somehow is in charge of a power program in basketball now. Stephen Pearl. I think I want South Carolina to beat Ole Miss.
Really?
I could eat those words if Mizzou ends up with the wrong seed and has the wrong matchup, but I just think it would be funny. So yeah, I want South Carolina to beat Ole Miss. That's like the least important game. I definitely want Mississippi State to beat Georgia. I mean, if we're doing the rooting guide, yeah, go Mississippi State over
Mississippi
Georgia.
State, yeah.
Go Oklahoma over Texas for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, root for LSU. It's probably not worthwhile, but absolutely,
I
want
think it's
LSU
fine
to beat A&M.
Yeah, I think you can root for
It's
LSU.
fine to do. It's just like you're probably not going to get don't get your hopes up,
No,
But
yeah.
you only need one of those. So we need one of those to where then Missouri is suddenly pretty safe from having a disaster strike.
Yeah, I mean, and then there are other games that you can pop around to, even if that one's not going your way. You can root in a different one. But if you're rooting at all in those scenarios, that means Mizzou lost yesterday, and that's probably not
pretty much
great.
Yeah, they're an underdog though.
No, look, it's going to be hard tomorrow.
I hope they start fast. I don't agree that it would mean it's gravy, but I do think that it's better than having to try to come back if Arkansas feels it a little bit early.
I don't know if it's
just
gravy. If I characterized it as gravy, maybe I shouldn't have.
You didn't, but I mean, you said if Mizzou starts fast,
I think that's their best path to victory.
Sure, but that's probably true every week.
No, but in particular for a team that is more at full strength, has been more rested, and again, even though there will probably still be an Arkansas run in the second half that even results in them tying or taking the lead briefly, I still think Mizzou at that point in the game is likely to have more left in the tank and can use that to close it. I feel like that's the scenario.
Can we see if we're getting greedy? Like, I want to win the game. Don't care how you do it. But if we want to get greedy, can I ask for Trent Burns to dunk on Trevin Brazil's head, or Trent Burns to stuff Trevin Brazil at the rim or something like that? I want Trevin Brazil to play terribly. I rarely am I rooting against a player other than just for Mizzou's benefit, but I want him to be embarrassed. And he'll probably have a good game. I don't think I'm going to get my way, but man, would that give me some pleasure.
We need more rivals in college basketball, just the players that can be a rival.
He's been a big show villain.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this goes back. So I mean, I'm openly hoping that they shut him down. I am acknowledging that he'll probably drop 20 and 10, but I'll be really, really pleased if he has a aggressively mediocre game.
All right. Who else are you rooting for in the SEC this weekend? Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Obviously, you'll be locked into Mizzou tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll be talking more about that. Plus, next, the Blues actually have players that are willing to waive their no-trade clause and allow deals to go through. What do you know? That happened a few hours ago and actually worked out pretty well for the Blues. We'll discuss next.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. Wintertime can be very hard on your vehicle, so don't neglect it. at all during this month, be sure to take it into Lee's Tire Company for regular maintenance. They can check fluids. They can check tire pressure. They also have a great technical team that can take care of larger projects if you need those done. But of course, they're the tire experts. So they'll check your tires to make sure they're in tip-top shape, check the alignment. And if you need new tires, they've got a huge selection. So chances are it won't be hard to find the right ones for you. And you can also save by getting tires at Lee's Tire Company. Every single month, they run specials to put money back in your pocket if you need new tires. Go and check out leestirecompany.com for all of those specials that are happening now. And be sure to visit them on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage, where they have a large location right by the MU campus. They're also in Centralia, or shop online for tires anytime at leestirecompany.com. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Hickman wrestlers Jordan Fincher and Luke Hayden, who both won individual state titles at the Class 4 Wrestling Championships at 165 and 175. The wins helped Hickman Boys Wrestling finish second in the team standings.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too.
We're trying to save people money. Go.
What if we cut sandwiches into thirds instead of halves?
We could stop buying warranties and just hope.
What about switching our toilet paper to half ply?
You.
It doesn't take a terrible think tank to save money. Just shop at Family Pawn. They've got jewelry, electronics, tools, and gifts for way less. No sacrifices, no half-ply TP. Ugh.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Time's running out on your best chance to show off all the coolest tools, gadgets, and equipment that guys want. The 2026 Como Man Show, Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Events Center where the Boone County Fair is held. Yeah, that's coming up real fast. And it's the best and most fun way to show every man they need what you got. Bring your best stuff, show it off, and have a blast. Secure your spot now and get ready for the Como Man Show at ComoManShow.com.
Hey, kids! Tired of working out in the peace and quiet of your own home? Why be comfy when you could be cringy? It's about time you signed up for a Gymbership. For 12 easy installments of $499.99, you can lie down on pre-soaked workout benches, enjoy awkward locker room talk, and get judged hard by dudes who look like they could rip a pickup truck in half. Gymbership comes with everything you see here, batteries not included. Or you could shop at Play It Again Sports for fitness and workout equipment. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
Farming comes with pride and pressure. Long days, unpredictable weather, rising costs, and worries that don't quit. You don't have to carry that stress alone. Talking helps. Show Me Strong Farm Families offers free, confidential telehealth counseling with professionals who understand agriculture. Search Show Me Strong Farm Families and take the first step. Call 573-882-4677 because talking helps. Brought to you by University of Missouri Extension.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Well, ended up being a healthy trade deadline for the Blues. Made a couple deals in the last hour with players that were willing to waive the no-trade clause, because I guess half the team has one.
Yeah, well, and these clauses for Falk and Braden Shen, I think were 15-teamers.
Yeah.
But Islanders might have been on Shen's list because they did say he waived it. I don't know for Falk if the Red Wings were on the list or if it was just like, hey, man, you only had 15 and we sent you somewhere that you didn't protect. Am I crazy? Like, the Blues are having a really tough season. They got a first-rounder for each player. They got a third-rounder, and they got players. They got prospects back in the deal. Like, in both deals. I think they did really well with these two trades.
Like what I wonder is, would they have made these trades if the Parayko deal went through?
I would think yes, because holy smokes, you'd have 4 first-round picks. Like,
yeah,
I'm excited that they didn't stagnate, despite the nightmare of the Parayko thing. And Armstrong had his media availability, and he was like, we tried to find out who leaked it, and it wasn't us. And I checked phone records.
Okay.
It's like, that's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
But you can kind of forgive it because I didn't know you could get a first rounder for Justin Falk. I didn't know you could get a first rounder for
And
Brady
a third.
at this stage of his career. So I kind of say, man, why didn't they get a first for Bennington and convince Parayko to take that deal and just own the whole draft?
Yeah.
And then what they would do in the NHL, you would trade 3 of those firsts for a star. I mean, they would be able to reload pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Maybe my valuations are more in, but that feels like a really solid return of, solid players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not winning with them. So veteran players, trade them away and get some young assets or some draft capital to be able to then flip down the road. I think is great.
And Robert Thomas is still here, and Jordan Kyrou's still here, and Jordan Bennington. Like if they're
multiple firsts for him, but that's fine. Like,
yeah,
I kind of wish they would have gone even further now, knowing. But I think they thought the Parayko thing was going to happen, and then they could make their next move. But then when that kind of got held up, they had to go back to the drawing board. But no, they've got still a core where like they don't have to be down for long. I'll be curious if they draft, if they use these 3 picks, or if they trade, as the draft approaches or during the draft to, a team that has a player they want. They can trade, flip one of those picks. But I think they're in a good situation. The Armstrong of it all, that was, it's kind of embarrassing to have it happen that way.
Oh,
but
a little
I
bit.
guess maybe not his fault. It's just at the end, I don't think he had to go so far as to say we checked everybody in the building to make sure they didn't leak it. Like, I don't know, that just isn't a great look. But he's kind of getting made fun of a little bit for that. But I think he did well with the 2 trades, as far as I can tell.
No, they did just about as well as they could under those circumstances by dealing those players, and what they got back in return is like not only helpful in the long term, but I think like short term, you get some guys in and you try them out and you see if you can keep them for later. Like actual players that you can see what happens with them. 2 main questions I have. First, need a new captain. Who's the new captain?
It doesn't matter.
Don't think so? I think it does. I think it matters more in hockey than in other teams. But.
In Armstrong said they'll kind of talk about it with Montgomery and Alex Steen as well. But like, you don't want to make a decision of assigning it and then, it's going to be like, sometimes the captain matters more than other times. It mattered when it was, David Backes. It mattered when it was Alex Pietrangelo. But it's like, sometimes you're in a transition period, and your next captain might be a guy who's only here for a few months because he's going to be the next one to be
They should make it Colton Parayko.
They should.
I wanted to be here.
He can't leave.
Yeah.
So as hard as you might try, you cannot move him. So I would actually. That's my vote.
That'd be
perfect. Colton Parayko.
That'd be so great.
Convince me.
Oh man. My second question. Okay, so like if they decide to flip and maybe get a star in any way that they can, or try to go for it instead of maybe rebuild, like maybe try to retool with what you have at your disposal now.
Like in the off season.
Sure. Yeah. Is Jim Montgomery the guy to lead this?
Yeah, I think probably so. I'm not ready to.
You don't think so?
I'm not ready to move on from that. I think he probably got more out of him last year than they. And there's probably a little bit of a build-up period where they are a little bit deficient on the talent. But I think moving old guys for young guys and picks is definitely, or like some change of scenery guys. Like Jonathan Drouin's been in the league for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They pick him up in one of these trades. I think that's perfectly fine. You got to, I don't know what line he'll play on, but you add a piece that's had some success in the NHL. I would say I'm not worried about Montgomery just yet. This has been weird. This has been a weird year, but I think there's probably more to it than like turn into think that it's the coach just yet.
I mean, things were great and then they weren't. I mean, that's maybe the biggest difference. But yeah, I just wonder, like, okay, if you decide to give him a bunch of ammo and you create a team that can compete and then you don't, it's obviously you want to see what he can do with that.
I think the core is largely still together. Understand they trade their captain, so it feels like it's not. But I think he was back end of his career anyway. So get a first for him.
Sure.
Why not? I like Braden Shen, but come on.
Yeah, no, it was very likable while he was here. And he was here. He was here for longer than I even thought. Like, it seems like, wow.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. He didn't start his career with the Blues, but he spent quite some time here.
I remember that when that trade happened, that brought him here. It's been a while, but Yeah, he was a good dude for them for a good long while, no doubt.
So some good players back for the Blues in those trades of Justin Falk and Braden Shen. Call or text us about him at 875-KTGR. Picks of the week coming up next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball plays tomorrow against Arkansas at home. Tigers might be facing an Arkansas team that may not have their star freshman, Darius Acuff. John Rothstein of CBS Sports reporting today that Acuff is doubtful for the game with an undisclosed injury. Mizzou and Arkansas will tip off at 11 a.m. tomorrow in front of a sold-out Mizzou arena. Pregame begins at 10:30 right here on KTGR. A Mizzou win could propel them to as high as 4th in the conference standings, which would give them a double bye in the SEC tournament. A loss could mean that the Tigers fall to as low as 10th in the standings, dependent upon other SEC results. Mizzou baseball currently down to UIC 12-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. In the second game of that 4-game set, Mizzou won yesterday. And so it looks like if that score holds, that the series will be tied at 1. Saturday's game is at 4 o'clock, Sunday at 1 o'clock, as Mizzou baseball looks to finish out their final non-conference weekend series of the year. And the Blues deal away Justin Falk to the Detroit Red Wings and Braden Shen, their captain, to the New Jersey Devils. They get 2 first-round picks and 2 third-round picks and several players in return at the NHL trade deadline.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. It's an ABC 17 Storm Track weather alert day. Potential of strong storms, especially into this evening. A line of strong storms late tonight could bring damaging wind gusts and heavy rain through early tomorrow morning. Heading into the rest of the weekend, temperatures will be much cooler tomorrow behind a cold front as we struggle to make it past 50 degrees. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
All right, you there?
No.
All right. You can start with the basketball.
Coming up on Monday's big show, we'll have plenty of college basketball to recap, including Mizzou's matchup with Arkansas. Where did the Tigers land in the SEC tournament standings?
We'll discuss what their path could look like in the conference tournament, and we'll give you a chance to win some tickets to the Como Man Show. Be listening at 5:20. All right, that'll work.
Okie dokie.
We'll see you.
All right, see ya.
To you, they're basically invisible. Tiny, weird, winged insects. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Not exactly. You see, while you're living your best human life above ground, there could be up to 1 million termites foraging for wood underneath your home. Steve's Pest Control needs you to know that termites are a serious problem. Like up to $5 billion a year serious. Oh, and that homeowner's insurance you've got? Yeah, termite damage isn't covered. In Missouri, it's not a matter of if you're going to get termites, it's when. A termite queen can lay over 20,000 eggs a day, and their colonies could house up to 1 million termites each. Upgrade your 5-star service with Steve's to the 5-star Advantage plan. In most cases, for less than $1.50 per day, you can show those termites that the Centricon system and Steve's Pest Control are a serious threat too.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Do-it-yourself projects are getting a lot more popular, and that's great. Some things you gotta leave to the pros, like welding. Think of it like watching your favorite team and yelling at the guy who biffed the play that you so easily could have made. No, you couldn't, or you'd be out there doing it. Leave the sports to the pros and the welding to Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. Repair work to custom fabrication. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. Kretsch'sCustomExteriors.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy, Brendan, and producer Ben once again in the ring for Picks of the Week as we get closer and closer to the end. Final regular season weekend of college basketball. Then after that, it's conference tournaments and then 3 weekends of March Madness to close out our Picks of the Week season, which only real drama is, I suppose, who finishes first. Brendan does have a large lead. Producers would have to pick it up. They're down by 7 games. Both the producers and Brendan went 3-2 this week. I went 2-3. I'll just, I'll hang out and watch you guys for whatever happens down the stretch here.
Seems right. Yeah.
I mean, it's the way it was meant to be, of course. We will go once again through the regular season slate of college basketball here with all the SEC games, several other regular season matchups that are notable throughout the weekend, including tonight's Miami-Ohio game. They'll go for an undefeated regular season tonight at Ohio, so we'll see if they get that done. Producers and Brendan get to decide who goes first.
Oh, I'll let Ben do it. I don't need the ego on that. You guys, you pick the order.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Ben.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Producers will go first. You know what, Brendan? You were pretty nice letting me go, so I'll let you go second, and then I'll let Andy rounding it out. So I'm feeling a little nice today.
Well, what you don't know is that Brendan likes going last.
It doesn't matter.
But
it'll be okay.
Either way. Okay, so producers first, then Brendan, then myself as we pick 5 sides per team. Producers go first. Start us out.
All righty, and I will start with the big one here in Columbia this weekend. Give me the Tigers. They're plus 1.5. After watching them at Bud Walton just a few weeks ago play against Arkansas, I thought they competed really well. I like what they have going, and after kind of a letdown against Oklahoma, or I guess would say a major letdown against Oklahoma earlier this week, I really think that they're going to get stuff done. It's a 1.5 line, and I like them to win it just outright. It could have been 4, 5, 6 points. I would have liked it, but even at 1.5, I'll take it because I really like Missouri in this matchup. So give me the Tigers at home.
My gosh, I hope that's exactly what happened. So I hope Ben nailed that pick. Not sure if he did, but
I mean, I would have taken it too. It's
really?
Probably smart that they took it first, but
okay. I mean, I'm all about just getting the result in that one. So I hope that's a winner for the producers. And don't win it by just Mizzou losing by a point. That would be incredibly painful. So please don't let that happen. And I think we'll all be just fine. Okay, I don't think they blow it here, but I think it's probably really a lot of pressure on Miami, Ohio tonight to secure the undefeated season. Ohio's not a great team, but they're the home team, and they certainly will enjoy kind of trying to play spoiler. I think it's a close one. I think Miami, Ohio at least has to sweat it out. So give me Ohio plus the 5.5 at home.
they've had to sweat out a few recently. It has not been easy.
A lot. Yeah.
It's been very, very interesting. And the Ohio, not Miami, Ohio will have all the motivation in the world to try and spoil that. So that's, I think, a pretty good pick. I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I think they will at least keep it close on the road against Tennessee. This is +5 for Vandy. I don't know if they win. I actually think they have a really good chance to. Again, no Nate Ament for Tennessee. But I have a feeling that regardless of the outcome, it's going to come down to one team having the ball in their hands with a chance to either tie or take the lead, something like that. So I'll take Vanderbilt in that scenario. So that's my first pick.
Okay. Round 2, here we go.
I will go to Auburn and Alabama and give me the Crimson Tide. They're -8.5 at home, but this is not too much of a I really like Alabama in this one. It's more of I really don't like Auburn. I don't think they're that good. They've been hanging around the bubble, and I just think that they can't really afford to lose another game, and I don't know if they really keep this one close against Alabama. This could be their final blow if Alabama delivers a 15, 20-point win against them. Obviously a quad one game, but still unable to pick it up. They'd have to win it to really get on the right side of the bubble, and I just don't see that happening for the Tigers. So give me Alabama at home.
Okay. I mean, that's a big number. Auburn's obviously should have their motivations in the right place, but I mean, they might not be good enough. And the thing about that is that Bama just took a tough loss to Georgia, and so you feel like they're going to want to get back on track. I don't hate the Auburn side. Not going to take it yet. I'm going to go elsewhere in the SEC, and I just don't think the number is enough here to keep Georgia from covering at Mississippi State. We kind of saw how Mississippi State rolled over for Missouri. Missouri did play its A game in that one, but it was not remotely close to this +4.5. Georgia's going to win this one, I think, handily. So give me the Bulldogs on the road. Yes, they just had the emotional win over Bama, but I would have needed to have seen this closer to like 7.5 to not think the Bulldogs of the visiting team, I should say, Georgia can get it done. -4.5 on the road.
Okay, doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Kind of see it similarly to Texas A&M against LSU on the road. I mean, going on the road is always going to be tough, but A&M is, I think, clearly the more motivated team. LSU might be playing at the moment like a team that knows their coach is about to be looking for another job at some point. I think A&M cruises in this game. They're only favored by 2.5, so that's not a big number either for them to have to cover. So I'll take the Aggies on the road.
Okay, I think that's solid.
I'm going to go to the Big 12, Texas Tech at BYU. And BYU's played pretty good at home as of recently, but I don't know. I have a kind of an inkling towards Texas Tech. I know they don't have JT Toppin anymore. He's out for the year, but they looked good going to Hilton Coliseum, just shuttering away all that magic that is up there and really putting a beat down on Iowa State. And I think that maybe they don't win, but they could keep it close. They got +2.5 on their side. So I think it's at least going to be a close game, and I think they might be able to gut one out at the end. So I'll take the Red Raiders.
Interesting pick there.
Yeah.
Some of these numbers are just a little bit tricky where, like, I don't know. To me, BYU feels like the better number, but a lot of times, and the same thing with that A&M pick of Andy's, I agree A&M's the better number at -2.5, but sometimes weird things happen. So I think this is a slate that could feature plenty of landmines. With my next pick, I'll try not to step on one, but I do kind of think, boy, oh boy, here's one for you. Maybe this is silly. This probably is silly.
Okay.
But I'll throw you guys a bone.
Try it.
South Carolina and Ole Miss, I think that's a close game regardless. And South Carolina's getting +6.5 on the road. I hate betting so many road teams here, but I'll go South Carolina +6.5 on the road because Ole Miss, they can find it for one afternoon, and maybe they do here, but Ole Miss is not very good either. So give me the Gamecocks just because of that number, +6.5.
I think that's right. I mean, it's not going to be a game that a lot of people are tuned into, but hey, that's why you kind of find the ones that not many people are paying attention to, and you see where the winner is. And I think that's the winner. I do think that's a close game. South Carolina might even win it. Might just get hot from 3 and find a way to get it done. I'm going to go to – I'm going to pick another road team too. I'm going to take Florida. Florida's on a warpath. They want a 1 seed. They want to stamp their resume at the very end on a very high note by going to Kentucky and winning by a lot. Kentucky's only a 6.5-point underdog in that scenario. And heck, Mizzou has seen them fold at home. So I think Florida will be very much capable of, even if it's at 90% motivation, they will still have enough firepower to race past that Wildcats team. Give me Florida minus 6.5.
All right, I'll turn to the Sunday slate in the Big Ten, mainly Michigan State and Michigan. And I'm just kind of going the number here. Michigan State's getting 10 points on the road. And I do think Michigan's going to win, but I just think Michigan State keeps it close. One thing I've never try and bet against is Tom Izzo in the month of March. And though the tournament isn't underway yet, the calendar still flipped to March, and he gave a very motivational speech on senior night after their way too close of a victory over Rutgers earlier this week. And I think they'll be motivated. I think they'll keep it close. Will they win? I don't know. Probably not. But I at least think they'll lose by single digits. So I'll take Sparty.
Hey.
And that's a plus 10 on the road, but rivalry game, you just need single digits. I could see the value there.
Kempom line too. It's technically not a spread since it's Sunday. We don't have
the number yet. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you know what? And I bet that you'll end up, the real spread will be like 8.5, 9.5.
Yeah.
Just because of that rivalry aspect. And so probably a good number there by Ben, but that's how we do it with the Sunday game. So all fair. I'm doing it again, Andy. I'm going to another road team. This is one that I've talked up throughout the week. I think Oklahoma's playing really good basketball. I don't necessarily think that Texas blows them out, and the Sooners are getting 6.5. So, again, me and this 6.5 points that I'm gobbling up on the road. I did it with South Carolina. I'll do it with an identical spread here. Oklahoma keeps it close. I think they'll probably beat Texas, honestly, and try to get a little bit more notoriety from those bracketologists. I don't think it ends up resulting in a tournament bid, but give me Oklahoma to cover 6.5.
Okay, doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Now it gets to slim pickings. Not sure what to do with this next pick. I think I know what I want to do with my last pick, but not this one. So kind of an odd tweener scenario, if that makes sense. I don't know.
So you're not worried about anybody taking your 5th round pick?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to have to fade somebody. We haven't faded each other yet, but we're going to have to because there's only 14 games. So someone's got to do it. I think maybe the one I'm most confident in is probably tonight. I'll take Miami, Ohio. They'll want to be highly motivated to win that game by a lot too. And so maybe there's a possibility that they kind of shake off a lot of those struggles that they had in other games that made it close. And they'll show that they're very much the superior team to Ohio. So I'll say that they cover 5.5.
All right. I've been going off of lines a lot.
Me, of course.
What? Wow.
Just shaking my head over here.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I've been going off of lines I like, especially my Michigan State pick. And I just like the value there. This one, I'm just so confident in. I really think it will happen. Give me Duke at home. It is a huge spread at 16.5. I know North Carolina doesn't have Caleb Wilson. A lot of stuff going there. But Duke losing on a buzzer beater just a few weeks ago in Chapel Hill. I think they're going to be licking their chops, especially with a slightly wounded North Carolina team. And there will be no remorse. If that game's at 20 points, they'll want to push it to 30. If it's at 10, they'll want to push it to 20. They will try and build up. They're not going to just take their foot off the gas because they're beating them by so much of an amount. I think they're going to keep the gas on, and that's where I think Duke might be able to cover this. I wouldn't be surprised if someone fades me later on, but I really like Duke to try and cover this big spread.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the right pick, so that's not a fade that I can make. There's a couple of Big Ten games here that nobody has touched. I just can't find a motivation on this Purdue-Wisconsin matchup. Wisconsin's plus 8.5 on the road. Man, Purdue has not really been putting its best foot forward. Wisconsin really has. Maybe that's where the switch-up comes. I'll just take the home team, Purdue, minus the 8.5, thinking that they might be able to pull away late.
Okay, this is the point where I maybe missed shot on my 4th pick, and I missed one that I would have rather taken with my 4th pick instead of my 5th pick. So now I'm between two, and now I'm like, okay, which one do I like more? It's another odd situation. This has been an odd pick of the week for me.
This is the
very-
last
been
round,
very
so
weird.
you can tell us what both of these would be.
No,
and
yeah,
what you decide.
that's what I plan to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so going back and forth. How much time I got here? Not a lot. Right at the end of the show, I guess. Yeah.
What are the two choices?
Well, I'm going to reveal it once I make my first one.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to. I'll go with my head and I'll say BYU -2.5. That is my actual
the real pick.
That's the real pick.
But you considered.
I considered North Carolina. I really did.
I think you did well here. That's the right choice.
And look, that was it. It is it's more playing the rivalry aspect of it like those two teams. One can be number 2 in the country. The other one can be unranked and fighting for a bid. Does not matter. They'll be 5-point games every time. Like the point differential is still like all-time series within like 10 points or something like that. So that's the aspect that I would have been playing there. But yeah, Duke is head and shoulders better than this team. Duke is better head and shoulders above all but 3 or 4 college basketball teams across the country. So, I mean, I think I went with the smarter pick, but I'm a little disappointed in myself that I went with Miami, Ohio, instead of maybe taking BYU sooner and then getting to the North Carolina pick. But maybe it saved me. I don't know.
We'll see.
That's me talking out loud there.
Talking through it.
Yeah, but that was an odd one for me. I don't know how it's going to go for you guys. Obviously, you're
Not
the ones
great.
that actually
Probably not great.
Have a chance at winning the whole season here. But thanks for joining us here if you're listening. And we'll be looking at these next week to see how we did. And we thank you for joining us. Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. Thanks also for him joining us last hour. Be sure to flip on the KTGR app as you hear the conclusion of Mizzou baseball taking on UIC. You can hear that series all weekend long as well on the KTGR app. And we'll be back on Monday at 4 to talk about the SEC tournament coming up very soon after that point. He's Brendan. He's producer Ben. I'm Andy. We're done for now.